Alrighty guys, we're back for some Witty Apprentice, and this is a Wilds of Eldraine standard brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link down in the description if you're interested in joining either of those up. Speaking of the Patreon, this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It's built around the Apprentice's Folly. It's a 4-mana enchantment saga. For the first 2 chapters, you choose target non-token creature you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary, it's a reflection in addition to its other types, and it has haste as well. So a really neat card here, but that chapter 3, you then have to sacrifice all reflections you control. So we do have a few ways in here to go ahead and deal with our own Apprentice's Folly before Chapter 3 happens, like bargain on the Torch the Tower here. It's a 1-mana instant speed, rocking that bargain, so you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast this spell. Torch the Tower deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If it was bargained, it deals 3 damage instead, and you get to scry 1 as well, so it's a pretty good removal spell because also the exile at the bottom here really comes into play. So if a permanent dealt damage by Torch the Tower would die this turn, it's exiled instead. There's plenty of cards that really don't want to be exiled. A simple example, of course, is like Phoenix Chick, right? Or Squee, or anything like that. Tenacious Underdog. Torch the Tower has a lot of great targets. I think it's going to be terrific in here. So we do have other ways to deal with the Apprentice's Folly before that Chapter 3, like Scalding Viper has an adventure side here. Steam Clean is a 2-mana sorcery speed adventure. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Nice. So yeah, of course, we could activate that on our own Apprentice's Folly. I don't know how often that's actually going to come into play because more often than not, you're probably going to want to target something on your opponent's side, but you never know, right? Now the Scalding Viper side here is a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value 3 or less, that's a lot of cards, Scalding Viper deals 1 damage to that player. Yeah, you get a couple of Scalding Vipers down, and that could be scary for certain decks, right? Like Mono Red and Soldiers and pretty much anything, dude. Yeah, mana value 3 or less is a ton of cards and a ton of different builds. So on that note of having like multiple Scalding Vipers down, of course, it's going to be a terrific card to copy with the Apprentice's Folly, but every single creature in here is going to be terrific to copy with the Folly. Got a whole bunch of ETB effects and other things like that. So let's start by going over the creatures at the front of the build. We have Voldaren Epicure here. It's a 1-mana 1/1. When it ETBs, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then you create a blood token as well. And of course, that blood token could help us like bargain the Torch the Tower or something, right? But you'd be surprised how often we use blood tokens to just filter out land that we really didn't want to see for a turn or something. So yeah, blood tokens are terrific. We have all 4 Charming Scoundrels here. This is a 2-mana 1/1 with haste. When it ETBs, you get to choose one. You can discard a card, draw a card. You can create a treasure token in this build. That could come in handy. Or you could create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature you control. Beautiful card, dude. Love it. Also have Third Path Iconoclast here. This is a 2-mana 2/1 rockin' Izzet colors up there. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Helping us go wide in this build is going to be huge because we have Imodane's Recruiter here. It's a 3-mana 2/2. When it ETBs, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So buffing a nice wide board state is sweet. At the very like worst state that Imodane's Recruiter could be in is a 3-mana 3/2 with haste, because of course it gives that buff to itself as well. So yeah, just another terrific card to copy with the Folly too, because yeah, if you end up copying this, you're getting that buff all over again. Now it does have an adventure side here. Train Troops is 5-mana sorcery speed, but it has a white source there in the casting cost. So you create 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance. Now I didn't end up splashing white in the mana base because I actually don't think it's going to be worth it at all, and hopefully I'm not wrong. I don't think it will be worth it, but that's why I said the treasure token might come in handy in this build, because yeah, technically we do have a chance to cast out the trained troop side if we use the treasure token on the Charming Scoundrel. But we'll see. Maybe in the final thoughts I'll talk about splashing some white in the mana base. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it'll be worth it. This is mainly in here for the 3-mana creature. Witty Roastmaster. This is a 3-mana, 3/2 rockin' alliance. So whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Witty Roastmaster deals 1 damage to each opponent. Beautiful, dude. Now, there are plenty of moments where we really struggle swinging in, mainly like against decks that we just know a Wandering Emperor is going to come down and immediately exile like our big creature that we're swinging in with and stuff. So Witty Roastmaster is a great way to get around that, which is why in the honorable mentions, Devilish Valet did not make the list, unfortunately, even though I think the deck's going to do pretty good at spamming out creatures and whatnot. Yeah, I'm really struggling to swing with certain creatures, and I'm really just, yeah, Wandering Emperor, man, hits everywhere, so... Also, there's plenty of moments, too, where the opponents just have terrific blockers, and I think Witty Roastmaster is just going to be a lot better in this particular build, at least, so no Devilish Valet today, unfortunately, as much as I love that card, right? Is that everything already? No, I didn't go over my non-creature spells here. So what works with like Third Path Iconoclast to get us some soldiers? Well, I have a Spell Pierce here. This is acting as our protection spell of the deck, kind of, sort of, right? Could also just be your protection spell of choice, like I have slipped out the back over here in the honorable mentions. I just really wanted something to deal with a turn 5 Sunfall. Or again, I'm looking at that Wandering Emperor, dude, that turn 4 Wandering Emperor, anything. Spell Pierce deals with a whole bunch of different things in the meta currently. I think it's going to be a great one of here. But it could totally be your protection spell of choice, like Slip Out the Back is still a pretty good option as well, right? Rockin' 3 Kumano faces Kakkazan. Yeah, I think it's going to be a solid one. I needed something else that would be a creature when it came time to copy stuff with the Apprentice's Folly. But then also I needed more non-creature spells that work with the Third Path Iconoclast. So yeah, I think Kumano's going to be great. Already went over Torch the Tower. We have a 1 of Rouse Reinforcement. Another great way to help us go wide. More tokens that work with the bargain. Yeah, going to be a solid one in here, I think. Of course, like playing Rouse Reinforcements while you have a Roastmaster or 2 on the board could be really disgusting, right? At the top end, we have Meeting of Minds. This is a 4-mana instant speed rockin' Convoke, so our creatures can help us cast this spell. Yeah, since we're going wide so easily, I think that Convoke could come into play often. Then you just get to draw 2 cards. Restocking our hand in a deck like this could be huge, dude. Okay, in the mana base, a couple Crucible of Defiance, hopefully not holding us up at all. I think just having the option of utility land is going to be more important than worrying about that weird one-off match where we happen to only see our 2 legendary Crucible of Defiances. You know what I mean? Also, Rocket of Soaring City, of course, heavily leaning towards red because the deck is heavily leaning towards red. And then Shivan Reef and Stormcarved Coast, of course. Oh, 3 Restless Spires chilling in here too. I think that the 3 Restless Spires, even though they enter tapped, I think that having more dual land in this deck in particular, especially, is going to be more important than just like adding a couple mountains or something. So we'll see. Realistically, every time we've played with Restless Spire, we really haven't been able to attack in with it too often. But when it does attack in, you do get that Scry 1, and as long as it's your turn too, it does have first strike, so that could go a long way. Final honorable mention over here, Planar Incision. We have so many different ETB effects in this deck that Planar Incision could be a really cool choice, and this could also act as like a protection spell, right? So you exile target artifact or creature, then you return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter. And if you do that and you get like an ETB effect on like the Scoundrel or something, and you have Roastmaster out there and you're dealing damage to the opponent's face, yeah, this could be a really sweet pick for this build, but I couldn't find room for it this time. I suppose we could have like dropped the Spell Pierce and added a 1 of Planar Incision, but yeah, not this time round, huh? Okay, guys, is that everything? I think so. Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. Let's go. Okay, what am I expecting from the build? I'm expecting jank, of course. I know. A lot of our builds recently, I've been saying I've been expecting jank, but hey, you never know. We could really do a thing here. This is good, right? I mean, we have the 3 mana already for when it comes time. Might as well get the reef down. Might as well. Ghost over there. Oh, Kumano would have been great. We might still go Kumano, actually, for the turn. Well, crap. Not what I was planning, but the sooner we flip Kumano, the better for a list like this, right? We have a good chance of getting the Roastmaster down. I should have swung before playing the Kumano, by the way. I was just getting hasty there. Sunset Revelry. Okay. We got a couple 1/1s. Let's get that Roastmaster down. And then Kumano flips next turn. Apprentice's Folly was a great draw, dude. Now we just need that land, huh? I suppose no swing. We wouldn't mind copying Scoundrel, but the copy on the Witty Roastmaster is going to be much better. Okay, we're flipping. Recruiter's fine. We have 3 mana. Yeah, the triple Recruiter actually isn't too bad as long as that we don't run into a board wipe. Next turn? Yeah, next turn. 2 turns from now, I guess they could wipe the board. But no, we really don't want any board wipes. Make disappear. Okay. You think it's safe to swing with that Roastmaster? Maybe they double block like the etching. They might just like block 1 to each, or they actually take care of that etching. So no board wipe next turn, probably. Get 4 through, that's good. Down to 17. So we got rid of the 4 that they gained off the Revelry. Okay, 4 mana open. Oh, Wandering Emperor, why? Why, Wandering Emperor? I don't want to swing with the Roastmaster if that's what's going to be coming down. But what if that's not what's coming down, you know what I mean? Let's see, they might just like counter this Recruiter. Even if we saw the 4th mana, there was a chance where we weren't going to play the Apprentice's Folly for the turn, but I think, yeah, 4th mana, maybe we would have... Well, Scalding Viper's Steam Clean side is only sorcery speed, so... Okay, Emperor comes down, takes care of the Roastmaster. We still get 5 through, but they gain 2. Or, it's not a Wandering Emperor, and we're playing around a Ghost right now. Alright, let's try it. I'm pretty sure it's a Wandering Emperor. Yeah. GG, Witty Roastmaster. Oh, they're going for the block. They're going for the block, guys. Okay. I'm down. No life gain, no exile on the Roastmaster, and they end up trading with that Recruiter. Oh, that's why, because Wandering Emperor's still at 2. Of course, they can take out 2 of our creatures with 1 card then. I completely overlooked that. But we did get extra damage through for the turn off that Roastmaster, so I guess that's good. 4th land, but now we only have 1 creature to copy with the Folly. Okay, how do we want to deal with this? I mean, we're playing our 4th land for sure. We need more mana on the board. At least they dealt with their own Wandering Emperor, but that probably just means they have the 2nd one in hand, right? If we play Folly, we won't have anything to copy for the 2nd turn. So maybe it's just awkwardly like Scalding Viper. And then like no swings. And then we'll try to play Folly next turn. I don't know about that, man. I mean, maybe they'll play around something here. Like, we still have 2 mana open, you never know. Maybe they'll play around a Make Disappear, or maybe, yeah, if it was like a Make Disappear from the opponent, then we were playing around that for the turn. It's like we might successfully be able to get a swing. Or not. Oh, there it is, okay. Down to 10, I think we could still get there, but... Because sometimes these control decks just completely fizzle out. 1 drop is actually really good for us, huh? Because we can get that down and then give it haste off of the Recruiter. They have 5 mana open. If they do the same thing they did last time with the Emperor, and like went for a 2/2, they're gonna go Fateful Absence on Recruiter. We still get haste on the other 2. I'm gonna get that swing. Pawn is down to 5. They might actually be fizzling out here. Apprentice's Folly will be huge on that Epicure. I wonder where we start though. Because if we go Scoundrel that has haste, and we go Wicked Roll, Full Swing. Alright, let's see if they have the counterspell for the Apprentice's Folly. We're doing great, all things considered, dude. The deck is still piling damage through. Ah, they found the negate. We don't have 2 open for the clue, and we don't have a card to trade out for the blood. Still attempting that swing. They have 4 mana open. It is going to be Wandering Emperor number 2 from the opponent, and they can do the 2/2 and block here quite successfully. The Scoundrel would be the block now that they know that we have. Well, they go for the Epicure. I guess maybe they are concerned about the ETB. I was going to say Scoundrel would be the block because they know we have Apprentice's Folly in the build now. And I feel like copying Scoundrel's a little better, but maybe they are scared of the ETB. Okay, blood token, get rid of the mountain. Or did we want to start with the clue, actually? Ooh, Epicure, nice. Okay, well, we're going to play the Epicure. Let's go clue, just in case there's something better that we want to play. Epicure, wow, dude. This is actually pretty good, man. Opponent is down to 3. Opponent is down to 2. It's worth noting they gained like 6 life this game too, so we are packing good damage through regardless of how much our board state was interrupted. Not even our board state, just 3 counter spells from the opponent hit their mark. Gain 1 off of the cove, plus there. They have good blocks. These both have vigilance, so even if they swung with this 2/2, I don't think we would have double blocked there. Ooh, that could have been interesting. I don't think anymore, though. Not now that they have a 3/3. Still have 2 cards in hand. Okay, yeah, we trade out the Restless Spire, but, like, these creature lands, man, they're really good against control builds. But I feel like it's a little too late. Like, we just need to see something that deals a bit more here. Yeah, more land. That's not what we want to see. That would have been great early on, right? Being able to do a little bit more that we were trying to do. Kumano's good. Yeah, dude, we're really pinging the damage through. Keeping that Wandering Emperor down too. A full swing would get 1 through. Had that Folly hit, dude, that would have been wild. Okay. No attacks this time, although we could full swing at that Wandering Emperor. We just don't know what's in hand. And I think we need to keep creatures on this board in case we see our Folly. Right? I think so. Blood token's really coming in handy here. Hopefully we don't see too much more land. Yeah, that land could have been better earlier. Oh, nice, nice. That's pretty neat. So they copied that ability to get an extra 2/2. We're going to go ahead and take... So swings aren't getting through. We need more ways to ping that last 2 damage through. Charming Scoundrel. Huh. Wicked Roll, right? Wicked Roll is a way to get that through, but... I guess... Charming Scoundrel... Wicked Roll onto itself, so it's a 3/3. And we'll swing with it. Forcing at the very least, a chump. Or do we want to save it for a blocker? They don't want to take the 1. I guess we save it as a blocker, huh? It would be easier for the Scoundrel to die as a blocker than an attacker. Because they would probably... Well, maybe they wouldn't chump. I don't know. I don't know. It depends what the last 2 cards in their hand were, too, because they had plenty of open mana. Kumano flips next turn as well. So we do have enough for a full swing. The island is pretty bad. What do you guys suppose? You think it's Wandering Emperor number 3? 3 cards in hand for the opponent. It's got to be something, right? They have 9 on the board, so it depends what they end up doing here. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. These control decks are brutal regardless, so... Wandering Emperor number 3 gives them enough life gain to get around this, and they block everything. Opponent goes down to 3 here. They found more removal with the Elspeth Smite as well. Dude, could you imagine? Oh, man. I'm actually really sad that I swung with that Roastmaster earlier, but... Who's blocking what? Okay, I guess that's fine. Yeah, they don't know what this last card in hand is, so the double blocks seem pretty good there. Good game, opponent. They go +1. And then they have 10 on the board. Brutal, brutal stuff. 3 Wandering Emperors. I think this deck did terrific. All things considered, man. Really, though, like, against what we were up against, 3 Wandering Emperors, getting them down that low. Against a good chunk of life gain there. They actually ended up gaining another 2 from that one. Did they end up gaining about 10 life this game? Which isn't that much, I guess, if you think about it. But yeah, dude, early on, if I would have protected that Witty Roastmaster a little bit more than what I was. Wait, they did end up playing like a Fateful Absence after our Roastmaster died, right? So I guess if it was doing too much damage, then that Fateful Absence would have hit the Roastmaster instead. And also, that swing, that turn, still got like 5 damage through too, so would we have been able to get that excess damage if the Roastmaster survived? Yeah, probably, actually. Like, the onslaught of Epicures was really, really good for us. And Kumano poking through too. Man, yeah, dude, wow. Wow, yeah, the deck did great. We go first, okay. Yep, I like it. I like it. Hopefully we get to see Apprentice's Folly right on time on 4, and maybe it'll actually land too this time round. Uh-oh, opponent had to mulligan. So I don't know if we go turn 2 reinforcements. Let's see what we draw before we make any decisions, because it might be turn 2 Epicure, save reinforcements for when the Roastmaster's on, but that might be too greedy too. It's like get more creatures on the board first. Recruiter. Okay. Recruiter tells me it's reinforcements. Because if we see a land off the top, then buffing this board state with the Recruiter is just terrific for that turn. It's an extra, like, 6 damage if the Recruiter slams through, too. Jadar. Okay. Land. Nice. It's probably Recruiter, right? Or do we go Roastmaster? Full swing, we probably get everything through because Jadar is something they want to keep on the board. How greedy do we want to get? Yes. Let's go Roastmaster. If we see more land off the top, then we go Epicure Recruiter and give everything haste. And then we'll have Apprentice's Folly for the turn after, which could be wild, man. Braids, yeah, that's a terrific blocker now. I'm actually going to decline. I know they get to draw, but I want as many creatures on this board state as possible just in case. So Braids blocks one of the 2/1s when we're swinging. Charming Scoundrel's pretty good. We could go Treasure for the turn. You guys don't suppose we're going to run into a board wipe soon, huh? I like this. I like this. Pinging some damage through with the Roastmaster, setting up with the Treasure so we don't need to find the 4th for Folly next turn. I'd like to get that Recruiter down. But we've already opted for greed here, so that's what we're going to continue doing. So they could trade here. Block one of the 1/1s. Is this still a full swing either way? No, I don't think it is. Not yet, right? As long as there's no board wipe next turn. Which, hopefully there's not. You know what it could be? In a deck like that, Path of Peril might exist, but, I mean, that does clean up some of their stuff, too. Well, just the Jadar right now. But, yeah, Path of Peril I've been seeing a lot more of. Okay, it's not. So, since the opponent's at 12... 2, sacrifice the 2. It can't block anyways, so do we let them draw? Yeah, I guess we do. As many creatures on this board as possible, man. Land. So we didn't need the treasure, but still. Actually, we could go. We have the treasure for the adventure side of Imodane's Recruiter. That's silly, though. We should probably start thinking, well... We've been going greed this whole game, and it's led to a lot of awkward... Okay, Roastmaster. It's led to a lot of awkward turns, but it seems to be working out so far, so... We now copied Roastmaster, and now... Yeah, again, no great swings. They have pretty good trades. Well, see, how likely are they to trade? No attacks. If we run into a board wipe after all this, I guess it is what it is, man. It just doesn't... It doesn't feel like a board wipe style deck, is the thing. So Apprentice's Folly could copy... We can't copy Roastmaster because we have a token. Ellis, nice. Nice, dude. See, they're keeping up with this wide board state. No, my first Witty Roastmaster, you monster. Okay. Okay, the greed doesn't appear like it's going to be working out now that they're gaining life, and we won't be able to keep up with that with the single Roastmaster here. Do we really want them to draw? Okay, one more. Imodane's Recruiter is going to come down. We're getting an extra card from Folly, but it can't be the Roastmaster, unfortunately. Alright, let's see what we draw. Stormcarved Coast, okay. So Charming Scoundrel. See, the plan was to go even more wide with the Recruiter's adventure side. Let's go Scoundrel. Because... Okay, they're down to 11. Let's go Wicked Roll. Although, just getting rid of that Stormcarved Coast could be pretty good, too. You know what? I'm going to do that instead. Yeah, we're doing like a whole bunch of plays that are... I don't want to call them suboptimal. It's more like testing the limitations of the build type of plays. You know what I mean? Like, how far can we push it type of thing? Because we have a bunch of 2-drops, and we'd be able to play any of them, and a bunch of 1-drops too. Oh, Spell Pierce. That actually could really come in handy. Alright, Recruiter. Let's do this, buddy. Let's do this. Down to 10. We're getting that full swing now. We probably should have just done this earlier too. Because now they just have terrific blocks across the board, but we'll see, we'll see. That 4-2 is going to die next turn from the Folly regardless, so... And if this happens to be something that they could use, then Spell Pierce might be able to stop that. Gonna trade with the Jadar, gonna trade with the Ellis. They're gonna trade with the Braids, and they're gonna keep the Living Cure. Wow. So we're getting 6 damage through here. See, I'd say, oh, did we get 8 through? Down to 11. I'm gonna keep the Spell Pierce open over something like Blood Token, which we could always do the Blood Token on their turn as well. Oh, Legends. That went over my head, dude. That completely went over my head. Okay. So, Apprentice's Folly isn't getting rid of anything. Alright, Spell Pierce. We are looking for something that does damage. Oh! Charming Scoundrel number 2 is a reflection, so we are losing that. So they do have enough blockers here. I'd rather keep the treasure. Let's see what we draw. Yeah, they completely reset their board here. Oh! This works out, though. Almost overlooked that. Yeah, we can get rid of our reflection since it's going to die to the Folly anyways. More land! Oh no, not again. Not in another game. Actually, this would be great on the board, man. Alright, we are looking for anything. Another recruiter would be terrific, dude. It would be really, really good. Apprentice's Folly. Is that enough? We go Epicure. If we go Epicure, it doesn't have haste, but it deals 1 through, and then they have blockers. If we go Scoundrel, go Wicked Roll onto itself, full swing, then I think that's it, right? Yes. Yes, I believe that's it. We need that Wicked Roll onto itself, or onto any of these, actually. Yeah, GG opponent. Nice. Okay, that's what we wanted to see. The blood token's really coming in handy again there, dude. Wow, you know what, man? First of all, really cool deck opponent. Let's take a look at this real quick. This was what do they call this? Abzan, right? Abzan Legends. Nice. And just these 3 cards right here, this lineup is absolutely terrifying. And we don't get to see Toxic too much, but still being a 2-mana 3/3 that works with the legend theme is really sick too. I wonder what else the opponent had in there. Because yeah, we saw double Jadar, double Braze. I can imagine both of these would be like a 3 of in this build. And then same with the Elisil Core too. So Animus Might is really sick. Being only 1 green when it targets that legendary creature is kind of wild, man. Oh, Sheoldred on the top end for sure. Actually, they might have had even more of a mid-range top end too. Going into 5 drops and maybe even some 6 drops. I can definitely imagine some 5 drops for that build. I can't think of too many 6 drops for Abzan Legends. I don't know. Really cool deck though, opponent. That was sick. Alright, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Okay. Opponent goes first, unfortunately. But that's fine. We keep this. I don't think this is a mulligan by any means, right? Thicket on their turn. We could turn 1 Kumano. I'm actually not going to do that. We're going to get the Spire down and go Iconoclast before playing the Kumano. Jukai Naturalist, okay. So they had no 1 mana. Yeah, hopefully Iconoclast doesn't get picked up by removal right away, but up against Selesnya Enchantments, and they went first, and now Naturalist is on the board. We know what kind of exile removal they play. Nice, go on Restoration for the turn, grab a Plains, then they can play the Plains and still play like an Ossification. I can see why we're seeing a lot more Restoration in these builds. Yeah, Ossification picks up the Iconoclast, really clean plays from the opponent. So we might have wanted to consider the Torch the Tower for last turn instead of getting greedy with our poor Iconoclast, which is no longer with us. We have Recruiter, not doing anything. We could swing with Spire if we play Reef. It doesn't seem great, but the Scry could be good. So I think it's going to be Kumano. Before they untap, we're going to go Torch the Tower too. Yeah. Yeah, let's take care of it. Take care of the Naturalist before they get any protection and before they can spam out more enchantments too. It's not terrific, but it's something. Next turn, Recruiter will get a counter. Bring back Companion. See, that's a great example of the Exile coming into play with Torch, because instead of Companion, they probably would have just grabbed Naturalist, right? Well, maybe not. The draw. Looks like they had all the land they needed, and now Haunting's on the board too. Scoundrel is actually terrific here. But I don't know what we want to play. I guess Scoundrel, Treasure, and try to go wide with the Recruiter's ability and then play some of the... I don't know. Okay. I'll go Treasure Token, and like we could play a 3-mana Recruiter and swing with that, but funny enough, I actually think it's heavily leaning towards the opponent right now, and so I think Greed might be the only way through, so we'll see, we'll see. Restoration flips. Yeah, because we could have spent 3 for the Recruiter, obviously, but then we won't have the 5 for the Adventure side, which I said we were, like, never going to play, but here we are trying it again, right? Solid Hunting number 2. Swing with the Companion, not worried about a block, says the opponent. Alright. Unfortunately, it's really cool to be going wide like this, but the opponent's going to keep up pace with that wide board state easily. And here we are looking at this, like, now in the mid-game, kind of wishing we did have that splash of white in the mana base. But if we did, how much would that hold us up? I would say often, man. There's sometimes in these builds where you attempt 3 colors, and, like, the third color splash really just slows you down at the beginning of the game or something like that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, all they had to do was play a couple enchantments for the turn, and we are in big trouble, dude. Wow, look at how cool this is, though. Oh, man, up against a different build that didn't have the Hollow Hauntings out there. Because we have Recruiter 1. Aw, man, this is so cool, though. Actually really proud of what the deck's been able to do so far, man. Yeah, they all have Vigilance, too, so there's no realistic way through. We're going for that fun swing because they have lethal next turn. Folly's kind of insane, man. So far, what I'm noticing from the build is there's just a ton of setup. So, yeah, because of all their, 6/6s here, they have perfect blocks regardless. Actually, since this is generating a spirit, they're 7/7s too because of the block. Hey, good game, opponent. You know what would be pretty good against this, actually? It wouldn't have helped too much, but like the Steam Clean gets rid of tokens pretty effectively. They found their 3rd Hollowed Haunting. Oh my goodness. GG. I don't think us going first would have helped too much, honestly. Not once, especially not once the 2nd Hollowed Haunting came down. Well, maybe if we went first and we did a thing before they did a thing. I don't think so, because then after our thing, if it didn't wrap up the game, then they would have done their thing and established that wild board state regardless. And so we still would have needed something to clean up, like, the last little bit of damage, probably. We go first. Slow lands, holding us up for 2 turns if we don't mulligan. Let's give it a shot, man. Let's do it. Pushing the deck to its absolute limits. Even rocking some greedy plays throughout these as well. And I think it's kind of working. I do. I think it kind of sort of does a thing. I'd love to see Witty Roastmaster survive a little longer too on these board states. So untapped land off the top would be incredible. So let's see it. Skrelv, okay. Untapped land, let's go. What do we want to do? Iconoclast isn't doing anything for this hand. So Scoundrel, Wicked Roll, swing? Okay. Okay, let's do that. Scoundrel, Wicked Roll, swing. Witty Roastmaster for a couple turns in a row is totally fine. Recruitment officer, that's scary, man. Keep the Skrelv open for protection. Witty Roastmaster. Oh, I got some lag there or something. That was weird. A trade wouldn't be bad if we swung with the Scoundrel, but I'm actually just not. Since we care about wide board states because of Recruiter, right? So the Skrelv is holding them up here. And then next turn, I'll tell you what, dude, ton of great draws. Any of our 1-mana cards would be terrific. Literally any of them. Apprentice's Folly with this current board state would be good too. Although I kind of want to try copying that Iconoclast with the Apprentice's Folly, so Yeah, dude, like pretty much any draw next turn that isn't a 2 or a 3 drop would be terrific. Any of our 4 drops would be fine. Any of our 1 drops would be fine. Opponent rocking a timeout. There they are. There they are. Okay, I'm gonna go no attacks. Scoundrel being a great blocker here too is totally fine. Is it gonna be a Brutal Cathar already? Recruitment officer number 3. I'm scared, guys. Buff this soldier board state, maybe? Let's see it. Knight Errant of Eos. Oh boy. Okay. Nice. Restock your hand. They found a Thalia, which luckily doesn't tax us right now. Yeah, probably still Witty Roastmaster. Like, we don't want to go recruit. We don't want to go Imodane's Recruiter. Have Roastmaster die to a block from the Knight Errant. Or at that point, I guess they wouldn't have to trade. They could block the 3/2 Scoundrel or the Recruiter and then take the damage from the Roastmaster, and then we could be in trouble next turn. This could be mono-white humans then. Opponent is holding us up with the Skrelv again. Let me go ahead and pause the recording until the opponent returns. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but I restarted my game. It's apparently our turn. The timer wasn't counting down for the opponent, so I figured my game froze or something there, but we're back. I'm sorry, opponent. I hope you weren't waiting too long, and hopefully that doesn't happen again, right? So we found more mana off the top. Let's go ahead into Roastmaster number 2 and get as greedy as possible with this dude, because next turn we can go Iconoclast into that Recruiter. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening this game. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the opponent is here. But yeah, the timer wasn't counting down, and it took a while, so I went ahead and reset my game. And then we were in, but it was my turn, so I have no idea what's going on. Also, I'm a Johnny now. Hey, nice. And the last time our game froze, you guys let me know that it defaults to the Ajani. It looks like it broke my book over here. Swinging on in. We just take this, right? Just like, we just do our best to win next turn, or they win the turn after. Feels like it's gonna come down to that, huh? Yeah, if they get more blockers down. Okay, only 1 blocker. They're at 17. If we go Iconoclast into Recruiter, they're gonna be taking 4 total from the Roastmaster, and then we full swing. Math is for blockers turn, or we die next turn. Dude, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Math is for blockers, or we just straight up die next turn. That's fine. Totally fine. Could we math it out? Sure, man. But no. Main reasons here, too, though, is because even if we save blockers back, is there going to be a way through after this turn? No. So it comes down to this turn. Right on the money, dude. Let's go. Yeah, there's the thing. So the game must have crashed then, right? And I had to reset to get back in. Because like the rank system there, bugging and everything as well. Same thing that happened last time. Dude, 43 minutes in. Let's end on a high note. We got like all the quests done from that one as well. Oh my goodness, man. 1 second, gotta pause the recording and then we'll go into our final thoughts. All right, here's the deck list again, guys. I really do think this did a thing today, and there were some plays that I did that were intentionally greedy. As you guys know, I was saying, like, let's go for the greediest play possible. Let's do this, or let's try to set up for this turn. And a lot of those plays, maybe they were the right decision in some of those matches, right? Like that last game especially, just like keeping blockers back. If we would have mathed it out, we would have figured out that, I guess, lethal... Well, where did they end up blocking? I wasn't paying attention to where they ended up blocking either. So I don't know if they blocked the biggest thing and they didn't, or if they blocked a smaller thing. Yeah, I should have been paying attention to where they ended up blocking there, but still, yeah, if we would have mathed it out, then we potentially would have known that that full swing was gonna do them in. But if it wasn't gonna do them in, then saving blockers back for that turn realistically wasn't gonna do too much. Like, their board was completely stacked up. What if they would have buffed that board state on the turn after anyways? So I think that would have been the best turn for a full swing, with the yeah, just a best case scenario being that we actually had lethal on the board. But the deck is cool, man. Apprentice's Folly is really neat. I like this card a lot, actually. The build around was really fun. So thanks again for the suggestion to build around Apprentice's Folly. This was a really fun time, just finding ETB effects and other creatures that would work well with this. Really, really neat. I didn't get to see Meeting of Minds today, but I do think it still would have been pretty good. I didn't get to see too much Scalding Viper. I think it would have been great. Would have liked to see Iconoclast actually do a thing today too. Yeah, there were some matches where we actually struggled to go wide. The true MVP of the day, funny enough, dude, it's gotta be this Epicure, right? Just like a perfect one-drop pick for the build. Definitely, if we could play 5 to 6 of these, we would in this deck. I think that would totally be fine. It's too bad we can't, right? The 3 Kumanos were fine. The Torch the Tower. I feel like some of those decks that we went up against, we wouldn't have minded like all 4 Torch the Towers, right? Even up against that control deck, they were still going like Wandering Emperor tokens for days. And Torch the Tower would have been great against those as well. Yeah, speaking of Wandering Emperor, dude, it's an absolute menace. And you got to be careful when you're swinging in. Like, that's how we lost that Roastmaster to the -2 on the opponent's turn. The opponent thought that through way more than I would have. They went for like the 2/2, they blocked the Recruiter, then they went ahead and got rid of their own Emperor with the -2 on their turn. There's still like some tricks with Wandering Emperor. I just don't get to play with it too often. That the opponents end up doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally a line of play with that card. That's pretty sick. It's still like, it's such a versatile planeswalker, you know what I mean? Yeah, Roastmaster staying on the board more in some of those matches would have been sick, but like that last game, actually having 2 of them down, spamming out 2 creatures, it's a wild amount of extra damage, man. So is it explosive? Yeah, dude, this is a very explosive build, but you have to have some form of setup. By some miracle, the opponent has to not interrupt that setup too much. Now, they definitely can interrupt the setup, and I think you could still get around it pretty effectively. Speaking of interrupting the setup, Spell Pierce. How do we feel about this one of Spell Pierce, guys? Is it necessary to have protection? It didn't do anything today, although we were able in one of the matches to keep this open as protection, so I don't know. How do we feel about this? Interrupting that turn 4 Wandering Emperor could have been great. Interrupting Sunfalls on turn 5 is good. And anything else like that. This does a lot of things like that. Golgari often plays like a 2-mana card, keeping 2 open for a Go for the Throat. Spell Pierce would stop the Go for the Throat. I don't know. I like it. I think I like it as the one. I think, actually, this is the perfect example of the build here for more testing required, right? We actually need to see this in action before we decide it needs to be a different protection spell, or we'll just skip the protection this time and just go all in and try to be as explosive as possible. Because maybe, like, it could be as simple as a Lightning Strike, right? Drop this, go up a Lightning Strike. Now we have that 1 of burn that can just smack the opponent's face when it comes time. That could go a long way as well. So that would come down to the meta you're seeing, and like I always say, yeah, more testing required. Pretty cool build, man. I like it. Didn't get to see Restless Spire, but again, I think the extra dual land goes a long way in a deck like this, where we're almost just like splashing blue. But we have more blue in here than a splash because of the adventure side of Scalding, but it's still kind of sort of a splash, and so the dual lands do go a long way, because you don't want too many islands, because if you see like both of your islands in a Soaring City and only 1 mountain for that game, then that's pretty bad, because there's plenty of games where you want to play out multiple red spells. But overall, the mana isn't even that greedy because there's not too many dual colors. So yeah, pretty cool, man. I had a blast with this one. So I hope you guys had just as much fun as I did. If you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions for real. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.